Hey guys, yeah, we'll be looking at the introductory part of graphic design. And one would ask, what is graphic design? Graphic design is the use of shape, lines, and images to communicate an idea or information to a viewer. If that particular design is not able to communicate an idea or information to the person seeing it, it is not actually useful. It is not a design, because design has to do with the proper patterning of every visual element in your Cartesian plane. Yes, the work area. So yes, and graphics design is the arrangement or organization of visual elements using certain principles to convey information. There are certain principles that must be in place for you to pass out an information to the viewer. Yes, and graphic design brings creative imagination to life. Yes, a person can be thinking of a flyer design or a logo design of a brand, and they describe what the brand do. They're into online shopping, it's an online store, and several things. They describe everything to the person, and that designer goes into think, sketch, search, and do some research work, and he or she brings those imaginations of the client to life. They design it and bring out that particular logo that symbolizes that brand. Now, what's the difference between graphic and design? They are not the same thing, but they can be similar, but not the same. Graphic are visual elements that make up a design, while design is conceptualization, patterning, and implementation. In the case of graphic, it has to do with lines. We can have a person standing in a picture with me, and that particular person can be having their birthday celebration today, and most of you post the picture with an arrow on their head. That is graphic. It's graphic, it's just visual element. A line is there, it's graphic. And now for a design, they are not the same thing. A design is conceptualization. You are thinking. You have to do the brain work, before having to arrange. So patterning has to do with the principles. What is the viewer wanting to see, and what's the layout, how is it going to look like. Yes, before you build a house, you have to sit down to have an architect to draw the house, and the architect knows that this house is going to stand before they start the work. So that's the same way it is in graphic design. Designing has to do with the brain work. Yeah, you have to think for the design now to be catchy and nice. For that, now you bring out the person's picture, separating him from me, and putting that particular person's PNG picture on a display or on a Cartesian. And what do? You add your fonts, happy birthday, and you can put any kind of celebration stuff on it. And that is you having to know the layout. You've already created a template, and that enables you practice. Implementation is practicality, which is practice of what you've already thought of, bringing it to life. Can you feel it? Can you sense it? Okay, why do graphic design, or why graphic design? It's educational. In a state that it takes a lot of time to do research, and in the course of doing those research, you're able to find new things, and you profile a perfect design in the course of doing that, and it educates you. Yes, and also you create new ideas in doing that process of research. Next, we'll go to rewarding. Really, really rewarding when you hit or have great clients and you're able to optimize or maximize your potentials. Yes, is another advanced area. So it's going to be very rewarding. You're able to pull off over more than seven figures and beyond with this skill. And it's challenging in case where a person can run out of ideas or can have design block whatsoever. So when a person gets to that level, what will you do? That's the question you ask me after this. Fun, yeah, it can be interesting. Yes, when you create funny things, people can. There's some meme that's very funny, and those are done by graphic designers. And it contains multiple creative disciplines. There are several creative disciplines such as illustration, digital painting, 3D modeling, digital arts, and many more. So, how is graphic design expressive? It is expressive in the case that you will become very, very creative, that your works will actually speak for you. So to say, yeah, that designer expresses himself via his or her design. So it's able to like put out their story out there. It's actually a discipline that you can select to do whatsoever you want to do with it. Okay, something to show for your hard work. That's G. Okay. Yep, and most people just go into the work area and just expect to create something all of a sudden. Yeah, they end up creating things, and yeah, they have something to show for their hard work and their time at which they spent in there. That's why it's necessary to conceptualize and do what, and you have a layout and make sure that that pattern is brought into implementation. Yes, so as to have a good output. Yep. All right. So it is creative. Yeah. You evolve around a lot of things. You think and create things. Collaborative, you can be able to work with a lot of designers, and you can also work with content creators, podcast speakers, and marketers. As a graphic designer, you're not stagnated. You can evolve around a lot of things, and that gives you great experience. Yes, and it gives you this career prospects. You can also decide to become a product designer of companies. You can decide to be a content creator or a brand manager for them. And those are very good career prospects in graphics.